The enlistment line stretched long and dusty under the Michigan sun, buzzing with the eager voices of young men ready to fight for the Union. Among them stood a lanky, smooth-cheeked boy who gave his name as Franklin Thompson. His hands trembled slightly as he signed the papers, not from fear of battle, but from the crushing weight of his secret, because Franklin Thompson was no man at all. Under the loose wool uniform was Sarah Emma Edmonds, a 19-year-old woman who had just become a soldier. It wasn't the first time she'd worn a disguise. As a girl in New Brunswick, Canada, she'd fled an abusive father and an arranged marriage by cutting her hair, donning men's clothes, and living as Franklin Thompson, selling Bibles door to door. But this was different. The year was 1861, and America was tearing itself apart. The drills were brutal. Marching under the weight of a musket, sleeping in crowded tents, keeping her voice low. Every moment was a performance. One slip, a careless laugh, too high-pitched, a poorly wrapped chest binding, and everything would unravel. She learned to spit, swear, and smoke like the men, even letting her hands grow rough and dirty to avoid suspicion. But Sarah was strong, quick, and a crack shot skills that earned Frank Thompson respect in the 2nd Michigan Infantry. Her first true test came at the Battle of Blackburn's Ford. As bullets whizzed past, she dragged a wounded comrade to safety, her muscles screaming under his weight. When a Confederate soldier lunged at her with a bayonet, she fired without hesitation. Her first kill. That night, as she cleaned her rifle, hands still shaking, no one noticed the tears she blinked away. Soon, her courage caught the attention of officers. When the call came for a volunteer to take on one of the war's most dangerous jobs, a Union spy, Frank stepped forward. Disguise was her weapon. Posing as a male enslaved laborer named Cuff, she slipped behind Confederate lines in Virginia, gathering intelligence. For weeks, she worked alongside slaves, her darkened skin and cotton-picking blisters selling the ruse. She memorized fortifications, counted cannons, and smuggled secrets in the soles of her shoes. Chattering about her brother Frank in the Union Army, she sold soap and buttons to Confederate officers and eavesdropped on their plans. Another time, she became Bridget O'Shea, an Irish peddler woman, her true gender hidden in plain sight. But her most daring role was as Charles Maybury, a Confederate soldier. She infiltrated a rebel camp, sharing their meals and marching in their drills. When a drunk soldier slung an arm around Charles, joking about his smooth face, Sarah laughed it off with a tale about being just a baby-faced recruit. That night, she vanished with their battle plans and nearly got caught when her horse stumbled in the dark. Each mission risked exposure, torture, or execution. But Sarah thrived even as the war's horrors mounted. Fields littered with corpses, hospitals reeking of gangrene, screams of the wounded echoing through the night. Then in 1863, fever racked her body. Malaria. The army hospital meant examination. Discovery. Terrified but resolute, Frank Thompson deserted a crime punishable by death. She collapsed in a civilian clinic, where a doctor finally uncovered her secret. To her shock, he didn't turn her in. "You've done enough for this country," he muttered, handing her a dress. Sarah vanished, resurfacing as a female nurse in Washington. But the war wasn't done with her. When she learned the 2nd Michigan thought Frank a coward, she burned with shame. After the conflict, she married, had children, and fought a new battle to clear Frank Thompson's name. In 1884, petitioning Congress with testimony from former comrades, she won a veteran's pension. The official record now stated, Sarah E. Edmonds, alias Franklin Thompson, served honorably. She was the only woman officially recognized for her military service in the Civil War. When she died in 1898, Sarah Edmonds was buried with full military honors. The inscription on her tombstone read, "Nurse, spy, soldier." A woman who defied an empire of expectations, not for glory, but because she believed in the cause enough to risk everything. History remembers the Civil War's great generals, Lee, Grant, Sherman. But in the shadows of their campaigns were soldiers like Sarah, who fought not just for victory, but for the right to fight at all. Her story wasn't unique. Historians suspect hundreds of women disguised themselves as men to serve, but Sarah Edmonds was one of the few who lived to tell the tale, and in doing so rewrote it. History never stops whispering. Some stories are dug up, others stay buried, but the past always leaves trails. If you're ready to follow them, we will.